What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
All right. An article here from Moz. If you don't know Moz, it's moz.org. That is one of the de facto points of information when it comes down to search engine optimization and the evolution of search engine optimization. Some great people there. We've got some great connections at Moz and some wonderful people that contribute articles into their blog space. And Kate Morris is one of them. She actually brought a number of key points to light. And I want to embellish upon some of the stuff that we've also seen, but there's certainly concepts inside of search engine optimization that are old school, some old concepts that have no bearing now on how to improve the value of your website. So we're going to go through a couple of them and hold on to your seat because there may be things that are happening to your website that are still going on that you probably want to stop. All right. So let's go through it real quick. One key point. All right. Putting text behind an image on a web page. Oh, all right. What that means is, a lot of times a client is actually having have to deal with the balance of the design of the page as opposed to the content, which is necessary, quote unquote. I'm using my quote fingers here. Necessary for that page to succeed on Google rankings, right, or on search engine rankings in general. So they put they need the content, so they put a large image on the page in front of the content on the site. Okay, don't do that. I tell you what, the engines are smart enough to know whenever you're doing a type of bait and switch, in so much as it knows what you're actually presenting to your user audience. Okay, and if you're actually not showing that information, but tucking a lot of text, which is one of the scoreable components for your page and as well as your site, it knows what you're not showing. We recommend, I can highly agree with this, recommending putting the text below the fold for the users that wanted that information and keeping the current image for returning users. The balance satisfies both the user needs and the business goals. But I tell you what, I even go so far as you've got to understand the usability of any given page on a website. Do not think that large image is bringing you success. You got to measure it and you got to see what people are actually interacting on. You will be surprised that if you actually try out smaller types of graphics that are actually more illustrative of what you want them to do on a page, all right, as opposed to just a massive header graphic about an image reflective of the story, you actually may see even a higher interactivity on that page. So the concept of page and text, there's much more going on in that page besides those two elements. Okay, so pay attention to that. All right, another point: copying a competitor's actions. This isn't as obvious as hiding text, but it's something that companies refuse to stop doing. It's a concept of if a customer is doing something, it must be worth doing, right? Now, have you ever heard the term of lemmings?
Yeah. I used to play that video game.
That's a great video game. This goes for competitors ranking above a business, but it also covers competitors that the business just dislikes as well. We all have those competitors that we want to beat, and sometimes that makes us do things that are not fully researched and planned. Kate actually referenced that one of her biggest annoyances is how many times a client says, "Well, but Amazon does it. Why can't we?" Right? Well, Amazon, like most major companies, tests many different things, and there's a different person behind each test. If you work for a large company, you understand this entire point. The point is, just don't try to mirror a company's site structure or information or the design, because the deal is that, one, you're not being unique. You're not actually showcasing your unique selling proposition. You're just trying to mirror what they're doing. And if you're dealing with a particular user base, right, they're going to see you as exactly the same as the competitor. And in fact, if that competitor was doing it first and you simply just mirrored it, and I've seen this happen before as well, it's not only that you're not unique, it also shows that you have you're truly trying to copy that particular company, and anybody who's shopping around that space knows that that's a knockoff, knows that it's a copy, and your brand suffers incredibly so. The solution is, the way to beat your competitors is to listen to your stakeholders, and that's your customers, your clients, your employees, investors, and make decisions based on their feedback, not what a competitor's doing. Okay? So I know it's kind of abstract, but the point is, don't let that decision-making process lead you to look, we need this page on the website because company A does this. Yep. Stop thinking in that mindset.
Right.
Another quick point that is always, we are hearing on a regular basis, the sheer number of links equals rankings. Okay, this has been debunked so many times over the years. We are 3 years post Penguin updates of Google. That's when the link spam engine, Google engines changed and targeted people that were spamming links and manufacturing validity online. Well, it doesn't change how many people still think that a total number of links, right, and all the different tools that measure this are a sole factor in ranking. You shouldn't be focused on the number of links. It's not quantity, people. It's quality.
Yep.
Do not focus on
Who has the most quality links
Right.
wins.
Absolutely. Who's recommended the best,
Yeah.
not the most.
Yeah.
Okay. The solution is really focused on there. Yeah. Ranking factors have to do with content relevance, social data, freshness, local news, personalization. All these different things actually affect how a site ranks.
Wait, those are things called marketing.
Yep.
We're in the post-BS world, people. You can't get by with cheats and angles when it comes down to marketing. You just can't. Last point here, a loss in traffic means that you've been penalized. Okay? If you're observing these type of situations, you may immediately think that we've done something wrong and Google's penalizing us for us. The media gets involved with SEO when there's a penalty, so that's what people most hear about, like FTD and overstop types of situations where disaster strikes and revenues fall, right? But the fact of the matter is, your clientele is searching differently than it was 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. You cannot expect the exact same, or more importantly, you can't expect a 30% increase from 3 years ago, because there's so many things that have changed in the waters of online marketing.
Right.
But on top of that, your consumers have changed. I know. I have a relationship with an old client of ours that their market was shriveling. Okay, the product they were selling was no longer being used because of other things that had entered into the market space.
Yeah.
So you've got to put that in context
Right.
whenever you're trying to improve your value and improve your rankings. If there are so many things that are actually changing and modifying, you can't say that you're under a penalty.
Yep.
You have to look at the entire marketing environment, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't come to a conclusion that there's a penalty. In fact, the link that we're going to share on the site here, go check it out, because it does have a number of good, useful ways to see whether or not you're under a penalty. A number of things could have happened, but don't jump to the conclusion now that because of drop in traffic's there, that you are immediately subject to this. It's just not. It's not the case anymore. Last thing, and I'll jump out of here. Duplicate content can incur a penalty. Well, the people don't understand what's happening when it comes down to the duplicate content. There's a misunderstanding that it's immediately causing a penalty. That's not the case. I would not recommend doing it, because you're not differentiating your site from others, or even if you have duplicate content on your site, you're not doing the best to make unique content, but that is not making...
Google's just going to point to the more relevant one.
That's right.
It. So if you don't rank because you're putting... the other one, too, is if you're splitting your content between 5 sites,
Right.
no one site is going to stand out.
Exactly.
So you're basically hurting all of your sites by not just having it
There's
in one place.
no unique child in the bunch there.